Shots on the wall, coffee gone cold, finger on the trigger, heart runs bold. Tick tock tick, red turns green. Is this that flip or the start of a scene? Every candle feels like a question. Every heartbeat bets on direction. I'm caught in the curve of the line, right on the edge of the sign. Oh, turn or trend, they both bend, riding that swing to the very last, stand up and down. Again, are we in a storm or a perfect friend? Turn or trend, they both bend. I can feel it in the air like wind blow right through. Break then blend, I just wanna dance it out. Turn or trend, screen glow bright, midnight dance. One more move, one more chance. Stop lost tight, but my hope runs wide. Do I bail right now or let this ride? Every signal talks like it knows me. Every move could crown me or ghost me. I'm tracing the arc in my mind, chasing the shape I can't find. Hey, turn or trend, they both bend, riding that swing till the very last, stand up and down. Again, are we in a storm or a perfect friend? Turn or trend, they both bend. I can feel it in the air like wind blow right through. Break then blend, I just wanna dance it out. Turn or trend, spin that doubt, round and round. Hear that hush in the crowd. Is it just a twist or the start of a run? I'm lost in the gust, but it feels like fun. Oh yeah. Turn or trend, they both bend, riding that swing till the very last, stand up and down. Again, are we in a storm or a perfect friend? Turn or trend, they both bend. I can feel it in the air like wind blow right through. Break then blend, I just wanna dance it out. Turn or trend. Oh. Shots on the wall, coffee gone cold, finger on the trigger, heart runs bold. Tick tock tick, red turns green. Is this that flip or the start of a scene? Every candle feels like a question. Every heartbeat bets on direction. I'm caught in the curve of the line, right on the edge of the sign. Oh, turn or trend, they both bend, riding that swing till the very last, stand up and down. Again, are we in a storm or a perfect friend? Turn or trend, they both bend. I can feel it in the air like wind blow right through. Break then blend, I just wanna dance it out. Turn or trend, screen glow bright.
Good morning, everybody. How we doing today? Sound check, mic check, vibe check, all sorts of checks. Let me know if you guys seeing the screen okay, if everything is sharp. All good. Um, okay, everybody wants the here's the link to the dots playbook, guys. Here's the link to the ORB playbook. Oops, hold on a second. Where's my thing? Here's the link to the dots playbook and a link to the ORB playbook for everybody. If I could only spell. Good morning, Miguel. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? I am continuing to just basically quietly churn along towards targets over here, $100 a day. Let's see if we can continue doing it. Markets are, like I posted today earlier on Twitter, they're basically in a pure roller coaster fashion because, we have no clarity on what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz. Latest tweet from, or latest sort of missive from Trump was that he may be willing to abandon the whole Strait of Hormuz thing to the Europeans, which is an interesting move because basically the U.S. doesn't really suffer at all from the closure of Strait of Hormuz in any significant fashion since we're energy independent. I know everybody's going to make the argument that global price of oil is going to affect us all and LNG, but you could just simply, if this becomes a problem, Trump could just simply stop exporting LNG and force LNG sales to be done U.S. local only, which would really, really screw the Europeans very, very hard and spike their prices probably by about 100%. It sort of, I guess, is a response to the fact that not only are they not really offering any help and trying to open up the Strait of Hormuz, but are actually now actively trying to sabotage the military operations by not allowing U.S. to use NATO bases in the European region. So that's, I think, definitely creating. It's interesting that's you would think that would create a lot more tension in the more risk markets, but the markets are we responded positively to that initially on the idea that maybe the whole military campaign is going to wind down soon. I guess that's sort of the idea. Yeah, the military campaign is going to wind down soon. But I continue to think that the trend, the overall trend, is really negative. Right now, I'm looking right now. I took a short over here at the open. We're kind of mid-range right now, so I'm not tempted to want to take this short. But yesterday I said to you guys, "Hey, I think we're going to 23,000," and that was a pretty much right on target. We went right down there, 23,000 as the day progressed. I still think we're in a kind of a distribution mode where we're not finished with the sell-off. Ultimately, Nasdaq could bottom out at 20,000 before we consolidate and find a longer-term rally. But those are long-term considerations. We of course make our money from the wiggles in the day, intraday, and there's lots of two-way wiggles to take advantage of, which has really been great. As long as we stick to the filters, I jokingly called it the Brita filter yesterday because we sort of now have a triple filter on our indicator where the first line of selection is the actual range itself. So you see over here, range is obviously more than 40 points. That means it's conducive to just simply finding dot signals. Now, once the range is wide enough for us to start looking for dot signals, then we look for three conditions to create a dot signal, which is we need dot density, which is you need to have lots and lots of dots over the X period of mounts. And our default settings here are, if you go to all of the trend filters are in something called a delta group. So in a dot density, we're looking for at least 2 dots over the last 10 periods. And then the other filter that we're looking for is the price progression filter, which is basically how much forward movement has price made over X period of time. And here we're looking for 3 basis points over past 8 periods as a filter. And then that filter is also subdivided into first half, second half to give us even more sensitivity to see if we have any kind of V-shaped movements that we can catch. As you can see right now, movement is stalled to a chop zone. So no dots are going to appear if we're in a chop zone, right? We need this to turn green for us to even be conducive for a dot signal. And then the final very important factor that we look at is actually the slope. So if we're looking for a red dot, the slope itself must be red. If you're looking for a green dot, the slope itself must be green to confirm that the angle of ascent or the angle of descent is in line with momentum. So we're looking really essentially at broader momentum, price movement, and then the slope of momentum as all sorts of ways to help us isolate the most optimal entries. And for the most part, they've been very, very good entries, right? They've been really, really good entries. I've been running about from yesterday to today. I actually ran both my wealth charts and my Tradingview results, and they were around 85%. One of the things I forgot to tell you is I actually traded pretty actively on my wealth charts accounts, and I spoke to the guys at wealth charts, and they have the latest code with all of these parameters. So we're hoping they sort of said to me that they're hoping that this week they're going to try and code this up. So if you're on wealth charts, it's going to give you a really interesting opportunity to do this. Wealth charts is also picking up more and more prop firms, which is really good to see. And I'm hoping that soon, we're going to see some of our other partner firms on wealth charts. Going to make it a lot easier to trade. So I'm actually probably going to, do a little bit of wealth charts trading as well. So we're at 22. Maybe I'll trade a little bit on this too. Just to kind of, we actually have a signal, right? So let's do this. Why not? Let's do this. We're going to buy this one. Oops, I'm a little bit late. So let's adjust it. When I'm late on the entry, here's what I want to do. I want to see what the close of this candle is, which is 84. And I want to bring myself down to 94, right? I want to bring that 10-point target to the, from the close to the 10-point target so that I'm genuinely trying to target 10 points from the close, not from the execution. If I made a bad execution, that's on me, or I'm just late, whatever. The market doesn't care. What I'm actually looking for is the precision of trying to make 10 points from the close of the candle. So let's see if this trade plays itself out. If we can hit the target on this one, we'll go from there. So the reason I'm in this trade, of course, is because this is white dot over here. We're positive bid. We're actually above the VWAP, close to the London ORB range. I'm hoping that we can get a little bit of rally into the flow. I actually have more accounts on wealth charts than I do on Tradingview. I have 7. So, I thought it was useful to try to see if we can run those. I'm going to go back to them. Obviously, as soon as I get the latest version of the dots indicator on wealth charts, we're going to be able to trade that a lot more because it'll be much easier to visually handicap these things. But it's not really that hard. You see the signal on Tradingview, you can easily take the trade on wealth charts off the thing. Let's see if it'll complete itself. Hey USA, how are you? They're not on wealth charts. You can't load. I mean, I'm happy to. You need to email me your email address and tell me that you're on wealth charts. And if you're a member of coaching, I'll have them enabled it for you. On wealth charts, if you're not, you have to they have to manually enable you. It's not as sort of a simple process as it is on Tradingview. But the way you would do this is you would go to add indicators. You'd go to more indicators in the marketplace, find me, and you would do BFF dots only. What's going to happen next week, hopefully when they have it, is this indicator will be fully updated to the new model. And there'll be another indicator called BFF ORB, and you'll be able to run both of them just like we do on Tradingview, right now. So that's it. So, we're pre-market 10, 15 minutes before market open. As I said, bias is a little bit up on, I know some, I guess, market belief that maybe the conflict is going to wind down. Seriously, a couple of things I really doubt. I have no idea, but I kind of doubt. I doubt the conflict is going to wind up quickly. I think even though Trump is hesitating, they're going to have to take car. In fact, I don't even know if he's hesitating. If he's just playing his usual, I'm going to say one thing and do completely other thing to fake the Iranians out, which is kind of interesting. Did this thing just hit my target? Let's see. Did we hit just target? Did we do that? Almost right there. So close, so close. Come on, baby. Come to Papi. We need to hit 94s. All right, it's just teasing me. All right, I will leave it alone. I think that really he understands that tactically he needs to take Carg Island out with the military force in order to really force them to negotiate. So I don't think it's going to wind up in the next week or two, but you never know. It's Trump, so it's always a surprise. We'll see how it goes. For us, I think as far as trading, really important to just be as focused as possible and execute as cleanly as possible as we can on any trades, and understand that we might be in this today. Might be one of those days where we could have churn and burn. And my one critical defense, the only defense I have against churn and burn. What I mean by churn and burn is where we don't have continuity. So we have a signal that just dies. Like in other words, like this might be a signal that dies. This is a signal that just went to target, like a point to target, and then reverses and stops us out and that kind of stuff. And what I was going to say is that if we sort of find ourselves in this discontinuous environment, what I'm always doing right now from a risk point of view is I'm in a trade. If that trade loses, I immediately, no questions asked, leave that account and move on to the next account. I never trade that account again until I've sort of moved through the whole rotation in order not to compound my losses with additional losses. Generally, if you've lost on this trade setup, remember, it's a 90% accurate setup. If you lost on a trade setup, there is, the market regime may not be conducive to trading, and you don't want to be pressing. You don't want to be, opening up a scab, right? You don't want to be just gotta let the wound heal and go to the next account. And then the other thing that I'm doing technically or strategically or tactically, whatever you want to call it, is if I'm in a trade. This happens much more during Asia and Europe when you have low ranges. If I'm in a trade that has a long signal, and let's say it's going against me, but it hasn't stopped me out, and then I suddenly get a short signal because there's just enough momentum to the other side, what I will do is I will actually take the opposite. I will take my other account and trade in that opposite direction. Okay, we finally got done. Thank God we got done this. That took forever. All right, so that trade got done. Let me show you how that got done. You see, exit over here. So that was good. We made a little bit of money on this first trade. Right now, we're basically, I think we're going to stay quiet until the market opens. And again, a new rule that I'm introducing. These are all interesting. None of these rules are strategy rules. They're all money management rules. And in fact, I would say the money management rules have been the reason why I've been so consistent and successful over the last week and a half, and why every single account is moving towards payout. That's been I think the most revelatory aspect of it. The strategy is as good as you can possibly make it, but it's never good enough to stand by itself. Like no strategy is ever going to be good enough to stand by itself. What really makes you impenetrable to tilt is money management tactics, right? And those are the tactics that I've sort of introduced, which is any loss, I'm always leaving the account for the next account. Contra trade, I'm taking it in a separate account. And what was the third thing that I was saying to you guys? Oh, and then, the other thing that's sort of like, from a money management point of view, the first 3 minutes of the market open, so from 9:30 to 9:33, we just let those candles, regardless of whether they're signals or not, we just let those candles, materialize before we take any movement because of the volatility of the first 3 minutes of the open. So those are sort of like been pretty helpful little hints of what I've been doing that's been working. Yeah, you can send anything. Anybody, by the way, in the room can send us contact@bktraders.com. That's the address you can always reach me at for anything. Astrologist says that he's looking for the open to take out the London highs and then reverse. Could be. I don't. We've seen that run all the time, and certainly been working. By the way, for those of you who are trading ORBs, all of those have been really working. ORB Pierce into the confirm working. ORB Pierce into the confirm working. The ORB levels, which is the opening range break levels, obviously we're positive bid. VWAP is over here. So for those of you who are new to the room, maybe kind of just trying to understand, what is it that we trade? We trade two setups. One is just the continuous setup of momentum, which we call dots. These dots trigger buys or sells depending on whether they're white or green. White or green dots are positive dots. Purple or red dots are negative dots. So we're looking for scalp trades within those structures. So a purple dot over here gets us short, a white dot over here gets us long, and we're trading those dots all throughout the day, multiple times a day. Generally, and remember, those dots are triple filtered. They only appear once they kind of meet all the filters that we have. But even with a triple filter, we're essentially getting a dot signal every 10 minutes. So hopefully we do lots of trades. And if you're sort of scalping like I do, remember, I'm averaging about 40-45 trades a day across all of my accounts in a very, very confluent manner. I'm happy to actually, I think, let me see, I wonder if trying to remember if I did this. Well, it's quiet, right? We're not going to take any more trades. So let me show you how anybody who's watching you don't have to be a BK member. Anybody can get their trades analyzed here completely for free using my tools. So let's just see what my numbers work, because this is a good way for us to test this out, right? So first I'm going to go into my Tradingview accounts. And we will go to this whole week. So let's do this week. And I'll start with, let's do the 65. So download CSV, 58, download CSV, 67. No, that's the only one that doesn't work. 54, download CSV. 56, download CSV. And 47. So let me show you. You're going to just take this. What the hell is this? Why is this not working? Huh. Yeah, this gets a little funky. Sometimes Tradingview gets a little funky. Come on, let's do this. 47. No, I want it this week. Really? Come on. Download CSV. Huh. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see if it works. Sometimes, unfortunately, it doesn't work in the thing. So we're going to go to that dots link that I gave you in the playbook, and you can literally go into Tradingview. We can try to see if we can upload these. What the fuck is going on? Why isn't this? Huh. Looks like it's only uploaded 2 accounts. Sometimes Tradingview export function. So I only doubt that really sucks. That's not going to give you a lot of. That's not going to give you. That's only 2 accounts. That's not enough analysis to what we're doing. What the hell? Why is this not working? God damn it! All right, let's try this one more time. Reports 65 this week. This week function is just not working. Wow. What the hell's going on? Yeah, it's just not working right now. All right, we can't do it. Anyways, we'll do it later when the export function is working. That's not my fault. That's Tradingview's fault. But okay, maybe we can't do this on this, but let's see what we can do on wealth charts, because on wealth charts it's kind of pretty easy to do this too. So we can go trades on wealth charts, and we're going to go from the 29th. I want to go to 29th. I wonder if I could do this. I want to go from Sunday to this one. So these are the trades. I'm going to export to CSV. Okay, so now we're going to go to the wealth charts analytical function, and let's see if we can analyze this. Okay, so this is the wealth charts analysis. This is just from yesterday. 26 trades on wealth charts, right? This is my numbers. Why is this not? Oh, because the commissions are built in. That's right. On wealth charts, this is actually really clean numbers. Wow, it's really good. Because wealth charts actually gives you net numbers on commissions, and yeah. So this is my results yesterday. It was about 80% accurate, 80.8%. We did 1.6, and I did how many trades did I do? It was 26 trades in 26 trades in wealth charts. So I think I did 45 trades in Tradingview, 26 trades there, and that's the whole point. Is that my point is just sort of that there's a lot of trade opportunities every single hour for you to scalp. I am not Claudio. I'm trading both dots. Like my opening trade. Like what I'm doing right now, Claudio, is I always want to do like an opening trade with a big dot. So I take the big dot as my first short, and then I will. Let's say that trade makes money. Just like for let's just run this. I'm in here. I make 10 points. That trade makes money. I will then take a set. I will not. One of the things I will not do is I will not. If I made profit on a candle, I don't trigger off that candle. I wait now for a new dot candle. I want to wait for a new dot candle. So then I will take the second trade over here for another 10 points. Right? That's how I would do it. So, and I give myself up to 3, like from the big dot to my total amount of trades per cycle. I will give myself 3 scalps in that one direction to the thing. So yeah, we are 9:26, 4 minutes to the open. See how it trades out. Really, now I'm of course totally annoyed at the fact that Tradingview is just not. I wonder. Okay, let me just see. What if we do it this month? I'm just curious. Is it No, it's just look at this thing. It's all fucked up totally. See, it's not giving you the total P&L. What is up with Tradingview? Oh man, sometimes it's such a piece of shit product. Come on. This month, give me. See, just not giving you. It's just not pulling up data. Something in their back end. It's just their back end is completely messed up right now. So we'll have to. We'll have to wait till the back end works. But yeah, you can, if you can pull the data, you can analyze everything with my free analyzer, which is really nice. Sorry guys, I had just I'm still on all of these frigging pills, and I just had the worst night of sleep. So I'm just zoned. I'm a complete zombie. My apologies for like being totally whacked out today. 2 minutes to the open. Still pretty much trading above the RBs. London session highs over here. As astrologist says, New York session is going to open up in 5 minutes, and the most natural run is through the 435s and see if we fade that. We'll see how it plays out. Again, my new tactical rules: the first 3 candles of the 9:30 New York Open, we just let them go. We just let's see what happens there. Whew. Okay. Just want to tell you, this is my children. My son and his wife supposed to fly in from Vancouver last night, coordinate everything. I'm like, okay, I'll take you guys to do whatever you need to do. You need to go. They need to go buy furniture because they're moving into an apartment in New York. Blah blah blah. I'm like, fine, no problem. I'll carve out the day for you guys. I'm like, have you landed? Oh, we decided we're going to come in tomorrow. This is why you have children, right? Unbelievable. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to re-coordinate my life for you for tomorrow. Hey. Anybody have children like that? Raise your hand. Ooh, market open, big pop. Astrology may be right. We may be testing the London high. Rodney raised his hand. Exactly. I can't. Honestly, I genuinely think it's just a generation. They're just the most flakiest generation ever. Normal behavior. Yeah, exactly. I'm not even surprised. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Big pop on a 930. I mean, it's very tempting to want to run this candle, but we're not. As I said, we're going to just simply hold off. What's interesting is to actually study what astrology is talking about. Because remember, the London session is right here, sitting at around 436. That's the London highs, right? So, do we pump and dump? Could be. Now, the cool thing is we have a little tool inside our indicator. They can help us study if it's a dump. We're going to the point of control tool to the sell side. And what that's going to do is, I've just set this up right now. The point of control sell is 12, right? So here we go through the London highs, and kind of dumping. Are you astrology? I'm actually curious. Are you literally fading the highs here? You just sold the 36s and took it back, or are you waiting for some kind of a reversal candle? Like, what's your strategy on that particular run? I mean, the fade here would have really worked nicely. We ran through the 42s, and now we're like 30, 40 points down. You're just fading going in. You just look at, you see what, can you share with us what level you faded? Like, where did you sell? 36s, 40s? What was your sell price? That's really, because we're actually getting a point of control sell right over here on this particular candle. 13 seconds, 12 seconds left. That's a different type of setup from the dot setup, but one that we like to trade as well. This is a pretty big reversal move here. So let's do this. Let's sell it. Oh, shit. What happened? What happened to my thing? Sorry, guys. Wait, what happened to my thing here? What did I just do? Damn it. Okay, let's just do this all over again. I screwed this up. Wait, what happened to my thing? I don't know what I just did to my whole trade of 8 thing. Okay, let's do it this way. I'm going to kill this. New split view right there. There we go. All right. Re-coordinate. All right. So I'm sorry I missed that setup, but actually it wasn't a good setup because that trade wouldn't have worked. I mean, it may still work, but it wouldn't have been a really good entry because we broke it and just completely came back around it. We're still like, what time is it? It's 9:34. Okay, we can start to really kind of genuinely look for ideas. I want to figure out, I'm going to start with my 65 account as my, why is this not working? Oh, God damn it. Okay, here we go. 65 account. Okay, so we will, we definitely have a buy signal through the London, New York session highs. That's a very quality signal we want to take here. 11 seconds left. I'm going to try and take it if I can. If it holds. 3, 2, 1. So what is that signal that we like to take? That's where the price closes near session highs on a green dot. Strong momentum at session highs. Generally, we find that to be a high quality trade. We like to trade that. But it can also retrace, and it's doing that right now. So we'll see if it can. Generally, it takes a lot of times. 2 things happen, or 3. There's 3 scenarios to that trade. It goes through the highs and it just keeps going. It goes through the highs, it comes back, retraces, but kind of holds back, and then makes a secondary move, or it just completely reverses. Which I could have, maybe this is one of those situations where I'm going to eat the trade on the reversal side. But generally, I like the first or second session highs are good trades. Let's see if there's some continuity here. I'm probably going to eat. I'm eating. This is the first trade I've eaten in the last like 10. So no, now it's reversing. So now the first thing, what's the first order of business? I leave that account. That account is, we'll come back to that account later. We do not compound our losses on the account. Now we're breaking through. Now, remember we had the sell signal that kind of faked us out. Now we have a secondary sell signal. Usually when it comes back the second time around, it's a pretty strong signal. So if this holds through the 14 level, in other words, if it closes below below 14, the signal looks like it has a target on it, which means that it's closing through that level. We're going to, nope, it doesn't. See, it at the very last minute gives an X, so it pulls up, so no signal. That's why we use the indicator very, very judiciously. You want to make sure that you get the actual signal happening before you commit to the trade. Like right now, Markets are very much too. This could be, this is one of those things that's very, very treacherous unless you really, really focus on the signal, because you have lots of fake outs back and forth. And that's why we always focus on the close of the candle. Right now, right back to positive signal with another big white dot, but it's got to hold that white dot with 10 seconds to go. So I am waiting patiently. All right, white dot hold. We're in at 47. I'm going to move myself to the 47 account and try to manage that account and see if we can. So that entry was 37.75. So I want to be 47.75. I want to be exit. Wow. All right. That's bad news. Now I'm not going to do anything for a little bit because this is very, very sloppy, choppy market action in the first 10 minutes. It's one of the reasons why I said I don't want to trade the first 3 minutes, but this is really, really buzzsaw market price action. Fuck, that's 2 in a row. That's very rare. I'm not, first of all, I'm going to get out of this account, move to the next one because I don't want to hurt it. But that really sucks. By the way, guys, inevitably, every single analysis I have, I know that we love to trade the market open, the 9:30 open, but literally, I lose money only one time during the day between 9:30 and 10. And I know, we want to trade, and I love to trade it with you guys, but it's almost always the worst statistical time for me. Really interesting. If you go back to like a monthly analysis, the only time I lose money consistently is a 9:30 to 10. It's the worst hour of my trade because this is the buzzsaw is what happens all the time here as we have buyers and sellers competing. Really interesting. All right, I'm back to just trying to see if we can avoid the chop. $44, $50, $54. Oh, come on. Jesus fucking Christ. Hit me already. Wow. Fuck. Come on. Let's go. Through it. Finally. Okay. Finally, I'm catching the move. White dot on this account. Just moving through this account. So again, what I did is I left that account, left the other account. I had a fresh account that I wanted. I took a next signal in, but everything looks like the same Valentine's Day massacre: up, down, up, down, up, down. Very, very sloppy market price action. New York highs mildly above London session highs, but not really being held. Right. So a lot of this is basically open hesitation moves. Now the good thing is a lot of times when we see these open hesitation moves, within 20, 30 minutes or even 10, 15 minutes after this, we establish a directional move. The market sort of goes back and forth, and then eventually one side or the other side begins to dominate trade, and that's where we start to make the money. But this was tough. Like 2 consecutive slip back trades definitely hurt. But here's the good part. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Look how rotating through accounts, trading small, and doing all that does very, very little damage to my long-term value of positions. And most importantly, stops me from doing anything idiotic like tilting, right? Fresh pop. This holds. It's a signal for us to. This candle got done, so now we're just waiting for the second drive here. 4 seconds. The dot has got to hold. Dot is not holding. Markets are just the markets are just very, very uncommitted right now, and we're just going to watch them until they become more directional. There is an upward bias here, but it's a very hesitant bias. It's not a bias that's momentum driven, and that's why we are very careful in trying to enter the trades only when we get the signal. Trying to see if there's any news. We got 10 o'clock news at Jolts, which is obviously nothing much going on here on the news flow. Just trying to see if there's anything going on here. Does end of the mortar? Yeah. Obi-Wan is making a good point that it's end of the quarter, rebalancing. A lot of two-way price action. Where look, our strategy is a breakout strategy, right? And now we're getting a reversal off the top. Very legit signal here. It's actually a pretty strong signal because what you're seeing here is what's called a V-shaped move right over here. If you're looking at the PPP delta, it's pretty strong on a reversal side. So 5-6 seconds left. Let's see if it's going to work for us. All right, so short. The key thing here is I need it to be, fuck me, look at this. Look at this. Look at this today. Oh, no. Oh, fuck. That wasn't a signal. I'm such a fucking idiot. Sorry, I got to get out of this. The other thing is I'm doing, if I don't have a signal, that was not a signal. At the very last second, that fucking dot disappeared. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really going to focus. I'm just totally zoned out. Fuck. Okay, that was my mistake. You see the dot disappeared, and I thought it was a sell. It wasn't. The way the market price action is right now, you actually want to wait till the candle completes before you are sure that it's gonna work. 10 seconds left. I'm not pulling this trigger long side until the candle is old. It's no longer there. 2, 1, boom. Okay. So that was a legit dot. And now I'm in the trade. Let's see if that's going to give me a resolution to the upside. At least this is a legit signal. The last one was just a bad execution because I did not wait for the candle to close. Let's see if this one gets done. Okay, so nice and clean. We're back in business, straight to getting done. Okay. Fresh session highs through the 65s. Sorry. So this is like sometimes the very typical 9:30, 10 o'clock move. Lots of two-way price action that stops you out, and then fake signals that disappear at the very last second, which is really, really stupid. I just should have committed. And then finally, we're starting to get a little bit of trend connection. So let's see if this is going to work for us. Again, I'm just waiting to see if this holds New York session highs. Secondary move. And again, where's my close here? 78. So I want to be at 98. Let's see if it's going to get me done. Come on, get me done. Close 78. No, it's reversing. Why wasn't this working at 88? Jesus. Okay, this is the correct exit. Come on. Let's get me done here. I'm at 88. 88. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Go. Go. Done. Done. Okay, good. So again, I know it's hard to see, guys, because this chart is so. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get rid of the ORBs because we're just going to trade the dots right now. It's really sloppy. There's just too many overlays on this thing. So we're going to forget about the ORBs. I should actually just do this right now with you every day and kill the ORBs until 10 o'clock anyways, because they're not useful. So let me explain to you like what I'm doing as far as technique. I had the dot that worked perfectly fine, right? Then we have the New York session highs. Your job is not 10 points, or at least my job. I'm telling you my job, how I trade, is not 10 points from my entry. It's 10 points from the candle close. So my entry, I think, was a little bit above the candle close. It doesn't matter. The candle close was 78, and I went to 88, and it went to 90, which is where it gets me done. The point is, if you want the probability, if you want the 90% trade, it has to be from the candle close, not from where you entered. It doesn't matter how badly you fucked up the trade. The market doesn't care about that. The probability is based upon where the candle closes, not where not where you entered. The big dot is simply the white dot. It's what the big dot says. It's the start of a trend, right? Start of a downtrend, start of an uptrend. The white dot is always the start of a trend, and then the green dot is the continuation. Now we're at New York session highs, right? Just pure New York session highs, and I'm going to rotate to the 56 account. Let's go to rotate to the 56 account, and if this candle holds, we're going to take it. Legit trade. New York session highs on a green dot. That's our trade. Okay. And I'm there, and the close was 31.25. Yeah, I'm at 40. That's fine. I'm a little bit above that. Let's see if it goes. Now, it can retrace back against me. New York session highs is always or any session highs, always a double-edged sword, because you always, you can get retraced before you make the trade. And I may be retraced on this trade out, which is just annoying, but it's a trade that I want to take. It's either, it's a high momentum trade. I give myself enough room. If the room I give it is not enough, then, I eat the stop. At least it's a legitimate trade. We'll see if it continues to go higher. But, today is a very, very, very difficult day. And as you can see, I'm trying to just survive in this new structure. And what I kind of want everybody to see is that it doesn't fucking matter what the market is doing. I'm not really getting that badly hurt, right? That's the whole idea. But looking at all this shit right now, what I said, we should not trade the first 3 minutes. I really think I know everybody wants to trade, but I think we're not going to trade the first 15 minutes. It's really, I've seen this price pattern always. There's almost very rarely do I just make pure money in the first 15 minutes. I'm always getting clipped out at least once on this thing unnecessarily. Like I would not, if I wasn't trading live with you guys, and I didn't have to sort of show you trade setups, I probably would not fucking trade any of this timeline until 9:45:50, because we know that the real moves almost always happen after the bullshit settles out, right? So might be a really good money management tool, even though it limits our trade abilities in the market. We just filter out the first 15 minutes as the bullshit season. Still not able to penetrate the highs. I'm probably going to get clipped again. Yeah, and then I'm just getting very badly bled, right? Not badly bled, but bled today on the breakouts that are just not continuing, and that's fine. Again, I'm at 56. I'm just going to go back to 58, right? I mean, I started this whole day in the 200s, and as you can see, I'm hurt, but nowhere near suffering. And I'm pretty confident that before the end of the day, if I have time today to trade, I will get these back up to the 200s, and maybe some of these are going to go to the 300s, because the whole idea is they have to go to the 300s. They have to go 100 a day forward as part of my trading plan. Sometimes you don't get the full 100 a day, but the most important part is none of this is anywhere near my break point, and that's the much more important point. You know, I'm bleeding today, but and look at this motherfucker. It goes right the fuck back after stopping me out, which is just a day today. You know, just too much vol, just too much fucking vol here on this move. All right, I'm in the 58 trade. Boom. All right, let's see if the 50 if still taking the setup, and let's see if that's going to work for us. Close 41. I'm at 50. That's correct. Let's see if it's going to move. There we go. And that works. So basically, you know, we're supposed to be like, what's happening right now is we're 50%. One setup failing, one setup working. That's obviously a shitty ratio for me, because the ratio needs to be 80 to 90%. But we are finally starting to create a breakout pattern, and that type of pattern is going to pay off as the day progresses. You see, what I'm doing is I'm not quitting, I'm not crying, and I'm not avoiding, you know, my setups. I'm taking them because I know that probabilistically they're starting to work, you know. So now we're going to go back to the and what the other thing I'm doing is I'm just literally rotating through all my accounts. I'm not even staying in one account for several trades. I'm just rotating through all the accounts. This way, any damage that I'm doing is very distributed. And you know, yes, I'm not giving myself the full value of the run, but there'll be plenty of time to. Right now is the time to trade defensively, just to try. You know, I want to nurse some of these accounts back to their original value, and then I'll worry about, you know, running the P&L up once I have the right regime. Yeah, Ben is saying he's thinking the same thing. To wait for next. I think, you know, this is really the bullshit, the bullshit session. The 9:45 until 9:45. Yes, now the other thing is sometimes you get 9:45, you get one-way moves, right? So you miss those. But you know what's really great about that is after those moves, the reactive moves are almost always money. So even if we move the 9:45 occasionally on a directional move, we can always make money on the reactive moves. You know. Okay, we're hitting highs. Here's a point of control at 38s. Let's see if I want to take the contra trade here. We'll see. 22 seconds left on the clock. 15 seconds. 10:24. Two seconds left. All right, we're short on the 65 account. Let's track that. The close was 29.75, and I'm looking for 19.75. That's the correct take profit. Here we go. See, once you start, and again, I hope you guys like watching this well. Today is probably my worst session over the last 3 or 4 sessions, and literally my best session trading. Literally my best session trading. Not because I'm making money, but because I'm showing you how to fucking lose properly. How not to tilt. which is a million times more important than making money. Making money is the easiest fucking thing in the world. We all lose because we tilt, not because we don't make money. So today I'm actually doing a really, really good job not tilting, right? I'm negative on 3, positive on 2. That's clearly a very ugly structure on my accounts, but it's the best session I've had this whole week. I hope you guys agree. Because what is really required to trade well is selection and execution, not winning or losing. Winning and losing are byproducts of selection and execution, and then market regime, and then staying in the game. Back to session highs. Still crawling. Maybe we're going to go to hit the 600. New York session clearly, pushing higher. I'm trying to understand what's going on over here. As far as just news. It doesn't look like there's anything really, really headline driving. All right, fresh session highs at the 600. No, not towards the 600 level. Trying to drive this over. Let's see what we get as far as signals go. I didn't take this trade because I had my eye off the ball. And it obviously had a steep retrace, but this trade may have worked 76 to really. These are what we're seeing today is a very toxic price action. Because let me show you what's really happening today. And you need to understand that so you sort of don't get mad. Oh, we have ORB levels. Let's see what the ORB levels are finally showing up at. So here comes the ORB levels. Okay, so 56, 560, 561 is the high, 377 is the low. These are the ORB levels. Now will give us a chance to maybe trade them a little bit. Also, it's let me get rid of this. We're above the VWAP. So within the ORB structure, the trades are only to the upside, right? So if it dips below, comes back up, those are going to be our ORB trades. For now, we got nothing is, we have nothing happening here. Let me just actually mute the dots and just show you the ORB in its pure form. So what we would be looking for is if the price comes down, then comes back up and pierces the upper end of it. As long as the VWAP, we're above the VWAP, it's going to be only upside trades that we take. So that's where things stand. Just trying to see if if we get any kind of news flow coming in through here. Consumer confidence 91.8 against 87.9. China Pakistan issue 5-point peace framework as Trump signals potential off-ramp even if Hormuz remains closed. I guess that's the reason markets are up, is because they think that there is a oh, hang on just 1 second. Okay. 15 seconds left on this purple dot. Definitely worth a shot for us. Gonna wait. Really want to wait. Make sure that purple dot stays in place. All right, sell. Close is 45.50. Target is, yeah, that's correct. All right. If you want to know the, how come the ORB? How come I want to see if I think the ORB values are posted on my Twitter feed. Let me just make sure. They should have posted. Let me see if they did. Yeah. Yeah. If you want to know the ORB values, just go to my Twitter feed. I don't want to show them right now because it just pollutes. There we go. Nice. Another clean dot trade executed to spec. At entry, proper target, proper entry with a dot, right? Just fucking doing the basics and, building the scalps. Like I said to you, I think if I'm just sticking to focus, all of this is going to go back and hopefully somebody's going to go to 300s by tomorrow, right? Two of the accounts are towards the 300. Two of the accounts got a little bit clipped, and this is the account that was at 500 that needs to come back up to 500. This one needs to go to 600. So you can literally see how I'm managing the flow in a very, very adverse market environment. And it's only been like an hour, right? There's still 3 or 4 hours to trade, and if I have time today, now that my children are not going to bother me, I may have some time to actually trade this afternoon. Sticking to structure, I can hopefully bring it back. Yeah, so Claudio, if you guys want to know the ORB levels, they are now automatically published every session. And if you want another good reason to subscribe to my Twitter channel, my Twitter is really going to get very, very valuable because it's going to post a lot of these sessions. So it's 57,379 against the positive ORB. I'm actually going to reformat this so that there's just a cleaner understanding how the signals are structured. Better explanation. We're going to get rid of the macro thing because I don't think the macro is providing any value to the thing. Also, by the way, you notice that I'm trading a lot of I'm putting on my Twitter feed a lot of the latest, most interesting, most valuable. Wow! Look at this. I didn't even notice. Look at this. Trade C is so Tradeify is going to Trade C. Trade C is a super interesting product that I've been meaning to review for a while, but just haven't had a chance. But I think for those of you who are new, really going to find it an interesting new product to trade. So yeah, we'll talk about that too. All right, Claudio, is that clear? That's where you can find all this stuff from now on. But anyways, if you guys want to follow my feed, it's going to be really good because I have like an agent, an AI agent that scours all the prop news feeds and curates the most interesting, most valuable information. Like you can see, there's a lot of really interesting, cool prop information that's coming. And if you follow me, along with the signals and a little bit of macro, you'll get all that prop information. So hopefully, the feed is going to be really, really good now. I learned over the weekend how to use AI agents, which was not easy. Definitely not easy. So I missed a couple of trades here. I'm I'm just sort of unfiltered today, and I'm really not focused. I'll be honest with you. The proper way that we should have traded this was a winner. We should have taken this one. This would have been another winner. I kind of missed another winner. Now we're sort of mid-range, and I'm really not interested. What I'm interested in now is, are we going to run to the lows? We ran the highs. Are we going to run the lows? If we run the lows, I'm definitely going to get interested in dot trades. If we sort of consolidate, run back up to the highs, I'm certainly going to get interested. When I'm in the mid zone, this is sort of the mid zone of the range. This is the area where it doesn't matter if I have dot signals or not. I'm not interested in playing them. I can open up the ORB indicator, and again, if I run the highs on the ORB, I'm totally interested. If I run the lows, I'm interested. But if I'm mid range, I have this new saying: I don't trade mid. As the kids say, it's very mid. I don't trade this whole area. It can be just a massive trap. It can work sometimes, but it's just it can be a massive trap. The edge is always at the edge. The edge of all trades is always at the highs or the lows, where you have natural progression, reaction. Remember, the markets are always mindful of the highs and the lows. Always. Right? They don't care about the 200 period SMA, the Fibonacci extension, all of those things. Certainly none of the ICT shit that you think. Those are all artificial values from ICT from 5,000 years ago. Oh, there was a structure 10 days ago on the 1 hour chart, so therefore this confluence is going to matter. No, nobody gives a shit about anything that's going on except what's going on right now. If you're at an institutional level. And on institutional level, and if you're sort of, on a prop institutional level, you are looking at the day's highs, day's lows, ORB highs, ORB lows as your operating environment. Because it's at those levels that people are reacting. They're either thinking, oh, wow, things are really, really good. I'm going to push everything higher, higher, higher. Things are really, really bad. I'm going to push everything lower, lower, lower. Or they're thinking, this is it. We're selling out. We're going to look for reversals. That's the two main forces that drive auction market theory. And I'm actually going to, I have a very special guest. I don't want to reveal who, for the new Prop Trader Fest that's going to be coming up in May, who has sort of like been the mentor to many, many traders. And she is the goddess of the auction market theory. And I'm going to interview her, and I'm going to talk about session highs, session lows as the single most interesting value. This is why I don't trade mid, but I'm always trading around the highs and the lows. Do you guys like that I'm starting to publish the ORBs on my Twitter feed? Should we do a little poll? Let me see what else, whether this is a positive or negative thing. Let's see if I can, let's see if you guys like this. Let me do a poll. Should I publish Oops. ORB levels on my X. Yes, no. Let's do that. While we're waiting for price action to come up. Give me some love on there. No signals, a little bit quiet. 10:15. We just chill until we get some clear directionality in the price. But I think today, as kind of rough as the open was, it's really cool to see that you have like this tug of war, and then the resolution really works. Like the once we got into trading directionality, the trades really started to work. Right, boom, boom, boom. I started hitting a lot of the trades. Could have done more, but obviously, I was it wasn't on top of my game today. Well, people seem to like the RB levels on the X, so that's good. I will continue doing it, and I'll continue adding more stuff. I'm actually, if you guys want to put suggestions, I'd love to. Everybody who's in the room here, I would love to know what you would like to see on my X feed. Right now, it's really going to be a lot of prop firm information, news feeds like that. But what would you like me to cover on my X feed that would make it interesting for you to follow me? I'd love to know that. As far as as a trade session, let me get rid of the POC because it's really knotted around the edges, so we don't need to have it here. Let's get rid of this. It's just polluting enough charts already. So now I have a positive dot here near the ORB highs, right? If this holds, so far it's not holding, but if I get the white dot here, I will trade this. Nope, no dot. See? Gotta fucking hold to the last second. Because if the candle isn't confirming, it could be a fake out. So, by the way, Apex is still very, very cheap. Still 50% off. Go out there, get some accounts. What do we have tomorrow? Did we say? Oh, yesterday. Tomorrow is Wednesday, right? Tomorrow is retail sales. And what the fuck what's tomorrow on the calendar? I said we wanted to trade this. Do I want to trade tomorrow on a 8 o'clock morning basis? What was the calendar tomorrow? Did we want to trade news tomorrow? I know there's retail sales. We had ADP and retail sales. Huh. Not really tradable. Like none of these events are truly 30-point NASDAQ events. I don't think we're going to trade them. Maybe we'll have the session early to trade just to kind of trade off it, but I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to give you the push that you want on these accounts. But I may still do it tomorrow. We may just simply trade early tomorrow. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. We'll see. I haven't decided yet today, but maybe we'll do it that way. Maybe we'll just have an early session just to trade off of these things on the dots. Yeah, we'll see. I'll let you guys know. Maybe we'll just trade 8 to 10. Just trade the morning session through the ISM PMI, and then that might be a better session for us to trade tomorrow. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Oops! Oh shit! I'm sorry, guys. I missed the trade, and it happens. It happens all the time, by the way. So yeah, you're looking. The whole thing is, you take. I took my eye off. I missed a trade. This would have been a good resolution. We now have an ORB trade. It's a legit ORB trade coming in here, which is a different kind of trade than a dot trade, but very much worth a setup. So I'm going to see if I can try to trade that as long as it stays. Again, it's got to stay. Okay, ORB trade. I'm in the trade. Let's see if it's gonna. This is a different trade from the dot trade. Let's see if this works. I want to show you as many setups as possible so you guys see, how many different tools we have to scalp here. So this trade is based upon the idea of we're positive trend because we're above VWAP. We went below, and then now we pierced the ORB level. That's the first momentum push, and then hopefully, if it trades through higher on a green dot, that's a second momentum push through which we kind of exit on. But we need that second wave. It's the first wave, and we need the second momentum wave through the ORB level. Let's see if it holds, or maybe this one will fail. But if it fails, it's a legit fail. It's not this is a legit fail. It fails. Just a day today, just fucking day today where legit trades are failing. But it's fine. That was a legit trade. I'm just going to rotate back out to the 47 account. We'll go to this one, and I'll do one more trade today with you guys. That is a legit trade. If I get a green dot, if I get a re-pierce, sometimes we get a pierce through this thing, it fails. We get a second pierce, and it succeeds. So regardless of whatever shows up on the charts, we're going to take this next trade as long as it's legit. Is there an audio alert for the big dots? I don't know. Let me look. Oh, sorry. Wait, we got to go look through the alerts. Yeah, the white dot alert. The big dots are always going to be white dots. So you just simply do white dot alert, purple dot alert, and that will give you the big dots alert. Okay, right then and there, Ben. You see, we have these big waves, just very, very slow consolidations, lots of hesitancy. We're just seeing a lot of hesitancy in the market price action today. And that could be also from what Obi said, that we have, end of quarter trades, and those are obviously end of quarter flows. And when you're doing end of quarter flows, there's an enormous amount of what I would call non-market sensitive stuff. People are rebalancing, not because they think it's a good value, not because they're bullish on the market or bearish on the market, but because they have to reposition their trades. So all those trades are made by force, not by desire. And when trades are made by force, you're going to get lots and lots of this kind of very non-directional price action, right? That's what's can be frustrating. So good point that, we definitely have the end of the day flows. Plus, honestly, guys, we got about 2 days before everybody just kind of checks out for the holiday vacations. And I think always the worst price action is next week. Always the worst price action is the worst. Like, worse than even Christmas, because it's literally this multiplied by tenfold. I'm watching this because this is actually legit white dot New York ORB break trade if it holds. 27 seconds left. From here to there is completely different story. So let's see if it holds. Right now it's not holding, but I will be trading this if it does hold. All right, long. We're at 47. Let's see if this is going to work. Order. That works. That was a nice clean trade. Focus, structure, clean trade. Getting close back up to the 2 more trades. I'm back up to the 200 level, and I'm in good shape. All right, guys. It was not pretty. It was definitely not optimal, but it was probably the best trading session I've had in the last 10 trades. Not because I won, but because I lost properly. And, I hope you guys really appreciated that. Because today was, if you look where I'm ending up, with just very, very small declines in some of them, some increases, but some small declines in some of these accounts. Given how badly and how negative a lot of the trades were, you gotta really appreciate the power of this kind of trade structure. So I'll see. We'll see tomorrow. I think tomorrow we're gonna trade 8 to 10 o'clock, just because that's gonna be the most interesting part. There'll be some volatility. We'll certainly be able to get some reactive trades off of the CPI, even if we don't get like the full, funding trades. And I think there'll be enough price action for us to I think that's going to be the most interesting part of the day. Was going to be 8 to 10 o'clock tomorrow. So we'll try to trade that. I'll set that up on the thing. I'm going to trade Asia today as probably 7 to 8 in gold, and I'll see you guys for that if you guys like that. That actually went pretty well yesterday. Gold has been, the way we traded with entry, partial exit has really been quite good. It's definitely been working very, very well. Okay. Otherwise, everything is as good as it can be. I think the tactics and techniques kept us alive today, which is the number one job of trading. And then hopefully, if the day progresses, I have no idea. Honestly, I don't have a lot of conviction that this day is going to be directional. But I'll hang out. I mean, maybe I'll, if I have a chance, I'll hang out on the screens and see if I can get any kind of movement. But even if it's not directional and I just close up shop right now, no worse for the wear, right? No worse for the wear. I'm basically bled out tiny amount of money on 2 or 3 accounts, and that's it. There's nothing, there's nothing here that prevents me from going forward tomorrow or the next day, which is really the key, right? So hopefully you guys saw some of the. Today was really a demonstration of money management techniques, much more than it was the great signal techniques, but both are really important. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. All right, guys, I thank you. Everybody have a great, great day. I'll see everybody at Asia a little bit later today. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.